adventurers, welcome to our Ashes of Creation development update. Woo, we made it.
Oh my goodness. Are we
We hope
announcing another delay? We're actually not
no,
live.
stop.
We're going to be delaying another week. We just wanted to come on real quick and let you know.
Stop, Stephen. We hope you all are well and safe as always. With me is the troll, the one and only Stephen Sharif. And of course, he is our creative director. I'm Margaret Crone, your director of communications. And we are here with you. We've got quite a stream for you. Lots of goodies. So strap in, buckle up. I hope you have some snacks. But of course, as you can see below, we have our reminders. We have a summoner showcase for those of you who are very interested in seeing gameplay.
The summoner.
Yes, the final.
It's the final archetype. I'm so excited. That is, it's just like
don't get us muted, Stephen.
Oh, my bad. It's a little too close.
Just kidding. And then we have a special announcement. It is quite hefty. There's a lot of information. We will have an article. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on with it. So just be prepared. It's going to be a doozy. And then, of course, we'll do a little bit of live Q&A. We may not do it that way. Like, we may just answer questions in line with stuff. We'll figure out how it works. But we're definitely going to be keeping an eye out for your guys' questions. So if you have any, of course, making sure that you post them in the channel and we will do our best to answer them. The community team is keeping an eye out for all of that. They're so good about sending them to me. So I don't have to see. We're always looking at all the places, social, Discord, Twitch, we're all the places. So we appreciate you guys. So let's get into this. Oh, go ahead.
Just real quick, I did see there's a lot of comments about something about like a Baja Blast pie or something that we're supposed to be eating. What is this?
You didn't see in general chat, but a bunch of people at Intrepid have also bought it, and someone bought it for the office. Apparently it tastes like a key lime pie, but like with a hint of Baja Blast. Now I'm curious because I actually like key lime pie. It looks pretty.
Was that what Bucky brought in the other day?
Yeah, it was what Bucky brought in. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah, so that's like a new fad or something?
Yeah, I think Midori said that she was going to bring it to her mom's house for Thanksgiving and hasn't told her. Like, she's like, I'm bringing dessert. I was like, oh my God, I love this so much.
I would try that. I like key lime. I would try it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into it. I know I like key lime pie too as well. So we're going to go into a subscriber comment. If you don't know, we pull a random YouTube spotlight from our YouTuber. So as long as you on the full development update, leave a comment over there, you may get spotlighted. You have to have your subscription public. I know that some people don't know that there is public versus not, but that's the thing apparently. But this one is from Trobe 2025, and we did kind of slim it down because he mentions a bunch of products and we, have to be careful about that stuff. So it says, Harbinger system looks good. I like that it is a lot more systematic and mechanical than those others I mentioned in the ellipses there. He mentioned a bunch of systems that were similar from other products, but a little different. Hopefully there will be more Harbinger-like story arcs or systems, even similar to this, to create more flavor and variety of the world. The paintbrush of just one Harbinger-like system can get stale fast. And I don't know if you want to talk on that front, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, story arcs, ever since we first talked about them all those years ago when we showcased The Blood is Still Due and Carfen Tower, we were working with a lot of different tool sets back then that have now since kind of been completely refactored to accommodate the narrative design team's work for our intention behind story arcs. I think that when I was crafting the idea of these Harbinger locations and the mechanics behind it, the progression, the way that it works. I know a lot of you guys have been testing that in its early form on PTR, and it's great. You guys are getting hands-on. We're going to be spending obviously a lot of time over the course of these next several weeks touching things up and getting bugs addressed and polishing some of the story arc there. But the design intent is to have this level of elaborate mechanics behind these story arcs, right? We want there to be a pretty involved and good amount of depth progression for players to be engaged when they make decisions, both as a community and as an individual, around what direction they might take with some of these objectives and how those directions might influence the way that the story arc progresses and even ends, having alternate types of conclusions possible or alternate story arcs within the grander, story arc component. And obviously as an MMORPG, we want to leverage all of the systems that we build within our storytelling elements. So, like in our Harbinger story arc, you see the introduction of a forward operating base, right? That is something you have to construct and build up, very similar to our node technology. You see the use of crates and the movement of those crates from an economy standpoint. You see the interaction with the geysers, and I apologize, I'm using some vernacular that's internal development vernacular, not necessarily what we've coined as the terminology for the story arc itself. But you see the engagement with that at an interaction standpoint and kind of progression there. And you see the introduction of the bosses and some monster wave forms, and you see the unique mechanics of the environment and the lawless territory incorporated. So it's a kind of a combination of many different systems that are incorporated into the story arc. And I think that approach is something that we are using across many story arc designs, right? We want to incorporate as many systems as we can so that we present a very dynamic, changing world that has opportunities for different experiences and gameplay that kind of breaks up the monotony of what you would expect as a standard day of leveling, or adventuring. So yeah, that is the intent there.
Yeah, and we will be showing some more sports fishing Harbinger stuff and probably our next update. So definitely stay tuned for that. I know a lot of you have been testing stuff with us over on the PTR, so we appreciate that. We're not going to talk about in our reminders here about the upcoming releases stuff because it's going to be very pertinent to some of the announcement things. So I'm going to put that all in that segment. So if you're interested in details about like what realms are up and what's going on when, go to that, skip to that segment forward if you're watching on the YouTube channel or whatever. But there's still some goodies in between. So the next thing, it's not our big announcement, but it is an announcement. We are officially now on TikTok, and we have a little video that we've shared with folks. I don't know if this is playing with audio or not.
Let's see.
There. Okay. Oh. Okay, cool. I wanted to know if I should be talking or not because it is pretty. The music is pretty fun. But yeah, if you haven't headed on over already and shared us some love over on TikTok, if that's one of the social platforms that you prefer to venture to, we are now over there. The place that we use to basically post all of our social channels has now allowed for scheduling stuff on TikTok, which has made it a little easier. If you don't know, we are a small but mighty team. We may be very active on all of our social channels, but it is, a very, it's not easy to be as active on all of those channels with a team like ours, but we do our best.
Very serious question here. And I would like to get some engagement from the audience. You guys tell us if this is something you want or not. If you want it, hearts.
Stephen dancing.
If you don't want it, then you just say no. Do you want to see developers in the studio dancing on TikTok?
Oh my gosh, no.
I'm just saying, like,
yes,
do you want to see? Do you want to see?
Oh no, there's some no's in there.
You want to see who has the best moves as like a competition, right? And then maybe we can do like,
all the developers are in channel, like logging in right now going, no. Yeah.
Okay. I personally think we should. I mean, wasn't that the whole intent of TikTok?
So we'll just have lots of videos of Stephen dancing for you guys.
I will gladly dance. You may not like what you see, but I will. I am unabashed in my dancing.
Okay.
I will dance.
We're gonna get some dance moves. Actually, what I was thinking too is that we could get some of those emotes in game and do some cool stuff with that. But there's a lot of fun things that we can do on TikTok. They have some cool like integration with like filters and stuff. We've also talked about doing that with like Instagram. There's a lot of stuff like that, but those will probably come online more closer to launch. Just as an FYI.
I do also want to say that I did see a dirty little move by our close friend Nice in his latest video recapping the last year. At the end of that video, just sneaking in a segment of me singing there. That was not appreciated with that Nice. That wasn't very nice, you might say. You know, I wasn't at my best when I was singing in that video.
You were great.
I'm pretty sure I was sick that year.
You can hear me in the background going, what? What? I'm like freaking out because I didn't know that you could sing. Like, I think that was the first time I ever heard you sing. It was amazing. Anyways, we're on TikTok. Go follow us. Give us some love over there. We are on a plethora of other social channels. So if TikTok's not your jam, you're like, I'm not into that. We're in other places. So we try to post everywhere that you guys want so that you get updated on all the things. And if there's some place that we're not, let us know. Stephen recently found out that we're on Blue Sky. He was like, we're on Blue Sky. I was like,
I didn't know we were on Blue Sky.
But
I'm afraid to ask what other socials were on.
Well, we've got your only. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Gosh.
I'm just kidding. Dev discussions moving on. We've got an Alpha 2 UI UX question up there. Our UI team is very adamant on this. So please give us some feedback on those things. They would love to hear your thoughts. I know you guys have them. I've been seeing posts about those things. So just consolidating those so that we can put a report together for them on that. Our next topic is going to be sport fishing. So if you have been playing or checking it out, definitely give us your thoughts. Or if you watched our overview of that, we will be also, like I said, alluding to that next stream. Our goal is to show off it in game for sports fishing and Harbinger stuff. So yay. Next up, the long awaited, my dear content creators. I know you have been waiting for this announcement for
my God. Can we all just
years.
breathe? Can everybody breathe before we even say this?
Breathe in.
Ooh, goose from yes.
The Intrepid Studios creator program is going to launch. So on November 20th, we are going to be closing this phase of application. So please get your application in very quickly if you haven't already. We do plan to reopen these at the end of January, probably January 30th, but don't hold me to that date. We just want to get things all onboarded, smooth, getting things going before we open it up to another can of worms. We've had over 6,000 people apply, so thank you all so much for your applications. On November 24th, we will be sending out the invites and denial emails. If you are or told that you're not part of the program,
denial's harsh.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean to say denial.
It's more like come back later. And
yes, it is a come back later. When the applications reopen, you can reapply. Sorry. That's definitely. I even wrote a note to myself to not say that word. And
we
I
will
still
send
said
the
it.
SmackDown emails to you.
But in that email, it also tells you why. So it's not like, and every email is catered to who you like, your specific content. We really went and watched all of your content. Or some of you did not have any content, but so we made that clear why you were invited or not. And we are not looking for, you could have one follower or 1 million followers. We weren't looking for follower count. That was not something that was part of it. And you can read up on our creator program if you want to hear more details about that. But we will not be launching the Bardic College with this segment. So we will not be sending invites to that yet. That's something that we want to first get the normal program online, and then the Bardic College will be like the training program into the main one. December 1st is when the cutoff date will be. So when we send those emails out on the 24th, please reply to them, get us the information that we're requesting you by December 1st. And then we're hoping to have everybody onboarded and good to go by December 5th. And then you'll be part of the program. We'll be doing lots of things with you guys throughout the months, and it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of work from our lovely Adam, who is Arcane Adam over on our Discord. He's been working very, very hard and very, very excited about this program launching. So I think that covers most of that, probably more in depth than Adam wants me to be. But I think that you guys have been waiting for so long. I feel like we just want to make sure that you guys are aware of exactly what the plan is on that front. And we're really excited.
I think we need to end the stream.
Just be done.
Yeah, just be done. I mean, they voted that they did not want to see us dancing on TikTok. I think we should just call it here. Just pack it up. Let's go.
I think they're like, please make this game, Steven. Stop dancing.
Dancing is how you can make the game faster.
No, I'm sorry. We also have some career opportunities still available. If you are somebody who is talented and you don't see a career option for you, you can also just apply to the general app as well. I know there's a bunch of you who've DM'd me a bunch of stuff. I have just not gotten back to you. I'm apologizing. I will try next week. It's been a very busy couple weeks for me and my team. And with that, I think we're ready for the Summoner Showcase. And then after that, it's going to be fun.
Before we do the Summoner Showcase, let me just touch on a couple of points. And actually, I might spoil, if I can, one thing. No, just one little tiny thing. There's obviously a much bigger announcement that we have at the end of the stream that we're going to talk about, but I see just people repeatedly saying wipe
Don't
hype,
say that, because there's going to be context with that. And
that's fair. Okay. Well, okay. I won't say that then.
Well, now you already did it.
Well,
so.
no, I didn't say anything. No, but nobody knows. We don't know. No, it could happen, couldn't happen. We won't know until the end of the stream.
Let's move that up to this, but we're gonna repeat it again down there, because it needs to be context.
With a much larger context that's very important and a big announcement.
The stream might be longer.
But at least as you watch the Summoner Showcase, you don't have to type wipe hype, because we will be wiping prod.
But
yes.
Caveat to that, we are going to be opening the Lotharian Shoal Alpha 2 realms this weekend, November 15th through 16th. And we'll also be opening from the holiday weekend. So it'll be starting on the November 26th through December 1st. And on December 1st, we're going to have a big community event. We'll have some vendors to max level. Yes. We'll have some special mount vendors. It's
going to be fun.
We're going to do a little corruption, not like corruption like you're expecting, but like a little event that you guys will see. And we'll have a little fun with you guys. Kind of like how we sent off for Alpha 2 Phase 2. We'll be doing something really fun similarly for this.
And there's a big announcement at the end of the stream I think you're gonna like, and we're excited for it. But before we watch the Summoner,
and this comes with the update that's coming that we're gonna talk about later.
Yes.
Is also coming with static rarity is no longer there. There's a lot of econ changes. There's a lot of bug changes. There's a lot of fixes for crafting. There's a lot of caveat there. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of the reasoning why it's not a wipe because of wipe. It's a wipe because there's a lot of stuff coming along with that.
Stay tuned. We're going to go over all of that stuff. We're going to talk about it, but we just want you to be aware of that as we go through this Summoner preview. So before we get into the Summoner preview, let me just talk a little bit about this. This is our last base archetype that we are introducing before we do our full archetype audit and some of the rebalance work that we've been waiting to do. We wanted to see all of the archetypes kind of in action and in concert together. Big kudos to the PC team, to the content teams that are obviously necessary to bring these classes to life. I think that they did an amazing job hitting the class fantasy of what we're trying to achieve with this Summoner. Very excited to see it, playing in game, and then to see, where we take these archetypes with our secondary class augmentation approach and the road from level 25 to level 50 as we continue that development going forward. There's a lot left, obviously, for us to do, but now we can say all of the 8 base archetypes are in the game and playable right now. And that is a big achievement. I mean, that is a big thing to say. So super excited to have you guys watch this. What is this, like 40 minutes or so, the video that we're going to be showing? 50
minutes, like 55 minutes or something. It's 50.
Cool. Yeah. So you guys have probably been testing it on PTR a little bit, but you're going to get some good insight here from the people who are integral in bringing this archetype to life, and watching a little bit about it.
And they're very passionate. They would have gone through every single ability and talked about every vertical effect if they had an option to. So we would have been here for like 2 hours. So they very much are excited, and some of them have been waiting a very long time to put this together for you. So enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Summoner Showcase.
Woo!
We are finally showing it in game. Not that the other one wasn't in game, but you get to see it in action. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, with me is a whole slew of people. Of course, first and foremost, we have Steven. You're not in game though, so I can't make things the way you look.
No, I am not in game. My vision is a little wonky today, but I am here for our final reveal of the archetype summoner.
The
Super
final archetype.
exciting. Holy smokes. Very
The final
excited.
primary archetype, right?
Yes, the final primary archetype. What was there secondary? Yeah, there's secondary
Yeah, there's
archetype, but
secondary archetypes.
That's true.
Yeah,
It's true. It's
so-
true. No,
But it is
very
our
excited.
final primary archetype, which is pretty exciting for us. And I know that these folks have worked really hard on it. So we're gonna get through intros and show off all the cool stuff that they've been working very hard on. First and foremost, we have Adam, who's looking badass. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but Adam, if you want to
You can say
introduce
that.
yourself for people who don't know you.
Yeah, hey everyone. I'm Adam Ostel, one of the combat designers here at Intrepid. For our summoner, I built the initial framework for our pet AI, and I've been supporting our engineers as we nativize that into code. And I also helped frame our core abilities and the role fulfillment for each of our pets, which Trad has then incorporated and balanced with the larger kit.
Okay, so now you
Speaking of-
know if the pet is off doing something you don't want it to, Adam's your guy.
Hashtag blame
I am
Adam.
following
blame
that
Adam.
feedback very close.
Blame Adam.
Yeah.
Next up, we have, speaking of Trad, we have Dread wearing some sick Nakuin armor.
How do you
here. It's
see in that?
wonderful. You
It's a
don't need to look
mystery.
up. You have to protect yourself from the sun. Yeah, you want to talk about who you are in case people don't know?
Absolutely. I'm Dread, also Trad Thompson. I've been a designer on this project, making archetypes since the very beginning, and excited to be here and talk about our 8th and final one.
Final one.
Next, we've got Jim.
Hello, this is Jim. I'm the art director, and I think the real reason I'm here is because nobody else wanted to tank today. Here I am.
Got that right. We've got a pet for that.
We always pull in poor Jocelyn. We're like, Jocelyn, tank for us. So now it's Jim. Jim
But
is a good
Jim-
tank, though. We've done some rating, and
Yeah.
Jim has been my main tank. So
Jim's
I
like a
appreciate it.
stellar. Jim's a stellar tank, dude. But now you're gonna get shown up by the summon tank, by the guardian.
I got a trick, man. You know what I do? I tell the healers to turn on all the cheats, and they heal me. And heal me and
Perfect.
heal me.
You're also wearing like the first set I ever designed, which is pretty cool. And then we have, I think, getting a little too prepared, or maybe some people might agree with how prepared you are for the upcoming winter holidays, is Noah.
Hey, well, my name's Noah Ortega, a VFX artist here at the studio for a little over 2 years now. I've worked on a variety of things throughout the studio, from all the loot beam VFX to fire stuff on the mage to all of the VFX for Summoner. By the way, with the Santa hat, it is legally Christmas now that it's after Halloween.
True.
So I don't want to hear any complaints about the Santa hat.
Everybody better
no.
have their Christmas decorations up and fully operational the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take the skeleton costume away from me over my dead body.
And then looking over here, looking very cool, is our wonderful Bill Trost. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bill Trost, and I clearly can't be bothered with any of this right now. You know, I'm just trying to hang out here with Natalie.
Speaking of Natalie,
I'm also hanging out here trying to hide in the shadows.
Are you guys like in the bush or something, or in the tree?
they're in the
Yeah, well,
tree.
you know,
yeah.
Oh, nice.
They're leaning, they're
Cool.
leaning up against the tree.
Oh, you guys are leaning on the tree. That's cool.
They look really cool, actually.
I
Aw.
remember I put a request in for this like a long time ago, and I forgot that we had it.
It took them a bit. They were trying to get it perfectly on the,
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
tree there.
Yeah, it looks a little freaky if you embed yourself in the tree.
It feels
All
very
right.
judgy.
Yeah.
It feels like you're judging the summoner right now. Show
Yes,
me
they will
your
be judging
I have a
work.
lot of judgment on the summoner. Don't worry.
They'll be
We are.
judging behind the scenes.
Mhm,
Speaking of so, we do have the summoner to showcase. So, of course, one of the most obvious, unique aspects is the summoner vessels. So, Adam, I'm going to hand it over to you to show, talk about it, show them off. And if the three of you can summon yours, that would be great.
Yeah.
Drum
Sure,
roll,
let's bring out a little
please.
bit.
Ooh.
Count of 3. 1, 2. Oh, no, it's gonna start. All right,
Oh,
let's go.
here
Let's
we
go. The Triforce.
Nice.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Awesome.
That was
I love
awesome.
that
That was
summoning
well
animation
coordinated.
so much. All right. So
Team Guardian.
Yeah, oh my god, the Guardian's such a beast. I love him. All right, so before we dive into the individual pets themselves, I just want to give a quick overview of what pet control actually looks like, because this is a new feature for us. And for our summoner players, it's going to be an essential part of how they're interfacing with our combat. So Trad, as I go through these, if you want to hover over tooltips, demonstrate things on the pet, feel free. Also, I just want to give a quick shout out to our gameplay engineers, Zach Wilson, who was really essential to making the pets happen from early prototype support to the nativization efforts, along with Ryan Farrell, who's been supporting us as we continue to address outstanding bugs and feedback. Those guys are rock stars. We appreciate them so much. So let's talk about the base commands for controlling your pet. So for starters, we've got 4 base commands that are applicable to all pets. We have 4 movement commands: follow, move to, and stay. Sorry, 3 movement commands, and then 1 combat command, which is sick. Now, follow is pretty straightforward. It's about what you would expect.
Sick.
That is sick.
Oh boy, yeah, the follow. I do want to quickly say, for the people who are currently playing the summoner on the PTR, because I'm seeing the Mystic do this right now, our follow behavior is still a work in progress. We're aware that the pet, does a little bit of stutter step. It's got some issues following when you're moving at speed, so we are addressing that. But when the pet is in follow mode, as you can see, it's gonna follow you. It's gonna go wherever you're going. Then we have the move to command, which if you want to send your pet to a very specific location, the move to command will give you a targeting reticle, and you can do precisely that. And the pet's just going to hang out there and do its thing until you tell it to move somewhere else, or combat tells it to move somewhere else. And then stay, just like the name implies, tells your pet to stay put. So wherever it is, even if it's currently moving, it's just going to stay where you've told it to stay. And again, if you move out of effective range or tell it to do something else, that's going to break that behavior.
So a few questions, Adam. If you tell your pet to go stand over, yonder, and you run X distance away, at what point is distance too far?
Oh boy, I do not know that number off the top of my head.
Okay, no, that's right. But eventually you're going to be out of range. Is it going to desummon? Is it going to run to you? What's going to happen?
Yeah, so once you're out of the effective range, it will default back to follow behavior, so it will just start running back to you. Once we do get our follow improvements in place, depending on how far away the pet is, the intention is that the pet will have an increased speed until it gets a little bit closer to you, so that'll give it that opportunity to catch up.
Okay, cool.
But in a worst case scenario, if your pet is like super far away or in a stuck state somewhere, there should also be teleport logic that'll bring it right back to you.
Got it. And that stay command that you were talking about, so if your pet is like mid-swing, right, and it's doing an attack or whatever, and you issue the stay, is that going to de-aggro it from continuing its attacks? Is there like a stop action?
Yes. Yep. So all of our follow commands, all of our movement commands, they will disrupt combat. The pet is intended to respect those, stop what it's doing, and do what you tell it to do.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, as a summoner player myself, there's nothing that you want more than quick reaction from your commands that you issue, right? You want a short leash on that summon.
Yeah,
Like,
responsiveness was a major
blind
focus for us.
obedience, I think. Is
Blind obedience.
All right. Well, so in addition, go ahead.
Oh no, go for it. I was gonna say let's talk about the roles of the pets, because they each have their own kind of thing going on.
Yeah. So as you can see, we've got 3 distinct pets. The one that I'm moving around over here with, our big boy, the Guardian. He's our tank pet. So if you need someone who can take those big hits and you want to fill that role in a party, or if you're out soloing and you want that little bit of extra assurance that you're not going to pull aggro, the Guardian is your guy. Then we also have the Spirit Hunter. Now, the Spirit Hunter is a little bit interesting. The Spirit Hunter is primarily our DPS pet. Obviously, all of our pets are capable of dealing damage in some capacity, but the Spirit Hunter's abilities are oriented around dealing, as much damage as possible. The Spirit Hunter also has an interesting mechanic where you can actually toggle it between melee and ranged stances, and every single one of its abilities, from its auto attacks to its bespoke abilities, is going to change functionality based on which stance it's in. We've also given some crowd control abilities to the Spirit Hunter just to round out that kit as well. And then finally, we have our Spirit Mystic. Now, the Spirit Mystic is actually why we call the Sick command Sick and not Attack, because the Spirit Mystic is our healing pet. Now, again, like all of our other pets, she can be commanded to deal damage, and she has a damaging ability. But we also wanted to reinforce a healing and support identity for her. So in addition to having a direct heal and a direct dispel ability, she can also actually be sicked onto an ally to auto attack, quote unquote, but actually auto heal them with a minor heal in addition to that bigger heal.
Wow, that's sick.
Super
see what you did
useful in
there.
solo content too. I've
Yeah,
played
Noah, you
quite a
wanted to
bit,
talk a little bit about the visual effects that you
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of made for each of these constructs.
Yes, so the pets went through a lot of visual iteration through concept beforehand. You know, there's a million different directions these could have potentially gone in, and but the whole key thing with the pets, the most important thing that we needed to communicate, was the fact that these are essence creatures. So essence is a magic type in Ashes of Creation, and it's actually like the root binary code for all magic. It's really the magic that all magic originates from. You know, it's the magic of creation, which is why it's kind of these like golden embery bits coming off of stuff. It's meant to be reminiscent of, you know, the main logo for the game with the phoenix is, you know, kind of essence based. So with the pets, one other factor to them is that from a lore perspective, and I'm sure you guys can talk about this more, they're not actual creatures that you're summoning. They're essence-based constructs that you're creating. And Bill, you can talk more about the lore for this.
Yeah, sure. And like you're saying, they're made of essence. They are of Vyra, the goddess of creation. They are birthed from her imagination and her ideal thought of what a creature should look like before Vera ever came into existence. They were conceived, you know, early on in her creation career, such as it is.
Creation career, I love that.
And they're ephemeral spirits and meant to take on many different shapes, and that's important for us because as you specialize into the additional sub archetypes, and the repertoire of the summoner expands, we'll start to see a whole bunch of other creatures as well, and we want them to all have this kind of unifying theme of Vyra's essence energy.
And then Trad, you wanted to talk a little bit about essence as a resource because that's also part of the summoner kit, and there are some elements in place so that you can't just keep swapping between your pet. If you want to talk a little bit about the sickness as well.
Of course. So essence, as it's thematically a big part of the summoner, we wanted to mechanically tie that in as a mechanical theme as well. So it's a lot like some of the other archetype resources. You'll find it around your archetype icon on your nameplate, and primarily you build it through your spells and then you spend it through your pet attacks. So a lot of the abilities that Adam referenced to with like the heals on the mystic, the CC and the damage abilities on the hunter and so forth, you spend your resource to use those skills, and we'll show that a bit more during combat. But the idea behind that was that, you know, you and your pet are partners, right? And you're working together to complete the combat whole that makes the archetype. So that dynamic between the two felt like it was tying the two entities together for gameplay.
The hair on the
Also-
mystic is insane.
I
It's
love
so
it.
cool.
It's so
It looks
good.
so good.
I want that
Thanks.
kind of hair in my character.
I also like the kind of silhouette of the dual shields that the Guardian has. That looks
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Oh,
Team
yeah.
Guardian.
Oh, Jinsey,
Yeah.
character artist Jinsey really deserves a shout out for this because she did an amazing job on the models and the textures for these guys.
Classic Jinsey.
Everyone loves a
Ripped
good
and near
Jinsey
1-to-1.
creation.
I also I want to quickly show off the Guardian's his shield ability, because when we built these two big shields, Natalie, this was your inspiration to give this animation, which we absolutely love, where he just goes.
Oh, so
turtle.
good. Little turtle.
Cute.
It's
Yeah, I
awesome.
mean,
Well,
there's so
I
many
do
people to
Guardian.
call out on this. Like somebody
Yeah.
else, I just want to call out all the people on the effects team because this really was a team effort. We have a pretty large effects team here, and several of the guys really put their heart and soul into this. And I just wanted to call out Siva for helping us with so many of the technical hurdles and materials.
Absolutely. I know Siva has did a lot to kind of establish a lot of these effects that can be used to create additional effects as we continue to develop, right? It's in an MMO, you're reusing as much as you can and you're building off of each other's work, and it's a very collaborative effort. That's a good call out, Jim.
Well, the summoner has a lot in its toolkit, and we are definitely going to show off some of the abilities, but we are not going to show them all off in this one little segment. We'll show them through gameplay, but we do want to talk a little bit about some of them. So I do want to let you get a chance to do that. But there's another cool system that got put in place that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. We're going to use that to show off the abilities. I don't know, Trent, if you want to show that and do a little duel per se.
Ooh, where can we go up near the church a little bit and do the duel, or are we doing down here?
We can
Where
do
are we going?
that.
Or are there some mobs up there? What are we doing?
Around here's good. We don't want to aggro them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go here.
Here, this works. All right, here we go.
So this is the new duel system. You guys were asking for it, and we did prioritize it. This milestone. It's
Hot
here.
off the presses.
Hot off the presses.
Oh, are we going?
Don't mind.
We're
Yeah,
going.
they're going.
Yeah.
No countdown.
That's only one speed trip. Go.
Don't spread out too far, man.
I like how the pets are currently fighting each other. No, fight
Yeah.
him! Fight him!
Yeah. What are the pets fighting each other? Wow.
Oh,
who's-
No,
Oh,
Travis
no,
is
no.
on Adam.
Are you gonna let this?
Adam,
Oh.
Who's
Adam
getting
is
you?
not
Adam,
going.
I'm down. I'm down.
oh, you're yeah.
All right.
Nicely done.
Well, now duel so that we can
Oof.
show off the abilities that we want to showcase. Round
right.
2. Less
Yeah,
sweaty.
this was something I had actually requested to work on from when I first started at the studio, and Jim was nice enough to accommodate me in getting to do all the summoner VFX.
Oops. The not auto attack, that would help.
All right. Well, let's get started. We're going to talk about maybe 6 of them today, but there are a lot more. So if you're curious about more than that, then jump in game and see for yourself. Here, let's start this duel again. All right.
1v1 bro.
You get some cloth sim on that banner.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's hot off the press. We got it in, okay?
So
They
the first one we're
they stole that banner out of Lionhold.
Oh no.
oh yeah, sure. All right, so the first one we're going to talk about is the core ability of the kit. It's the one that you're granted at level 1, and it has a lot of interactions with the rest of the kit. It's called Spirit Shred. Here, I'll cast it on you here.
Oof.
So it's a dot spell. It's instant cast. You can reset its cooldown by using weapon combo finishers. And one important thing about this spell is that it generates essence, and you can spread this dot through the next spell we'll show. Looks like the duel keeps ending here. Hold on.
There's also the good old fashioned flagging.
Yeah, we can all use the flag.
Uh-oh,
go.
we're missing a string table.
Yeah, we were talking about that before.
I wouldn't say we're missing it.
Well, just misplaced for now.
All right. So second spell is Mortal Blast. This actually synergizes with Spirit Shred because it can spread the dot. So we don't have multiple targets here, but I'll cast it. It's a single target direct damage spell. And if there were additional targets around, it would spread the dot. And the more ticks of those going off, the more resource you're generating. So it's a prime generator to use pet skills as a result of building that resource.
Can you use Spirit Shred a couple more times? Shred. So one of the fun things about Spirit Shred in particular, or really Summoner as a whole, is that we introduced 2 new magic types, or types of magic damage with this class. One of which is Spirit Damage, which you see with Spirit Shred, and the other is Necrotic, which you see with Umbral Blast there. So Summoner is similar to Mage in the sense that each of them can cast 4 different kinds of magic. Mage is Arcane, Fire, Lightning, and Ice. Summoner is Essence, Spirit, Necrotic, and Arcane.
And of course, as we continue to develop, the synergies between these archetypes, and we do our balance passes and we do our audits, those types of energy descriptors are going to become more relevant and have more synergies that players are going to need to be cognizant of in order to, be most effective in their combat.
Mhm.
Wait till we start all the augments.
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
ooh,
Yes,
can we just
excited.
2025
I'm already
first,
been
please?
begging for specific augments.
Please, we just finished the last class.
Can we just get this last archetype out the door, please?
Yeah, we're gonna have some crazy, insane kind of necrotic arcane magic, and we're gonna see freaking effects everywhere. That's all I can say. It's
Oh
gonna be
my
amazing.
goodness.
So many,
All
so
right.
many
Speaking of
effects.
necrotic, let's show
Yeah.
some disintegrate then.
Yep. So a good segue for that. Disintegrate is one of our capstone necrotic spells. It's one of my personal favorites.
That's awesome. For the sound effects are great on that. Who did the sound effects? Is that? Do we know?
Jeez, I'm blanking
Andrew?
on
Tori,
Or
Tori.
Tori?
Yeah, that was
Yep.
Tori.
Nice.
here, setting my cooldowns real quick.
He did a really
Yeah, I
good
was
job
like,
with the
why are you
sounds.
spamming it, bro?
There we go.
Oh, I love that reverb kind of echo. That's so good. I wonder if that it should have like a dampening effect on all other sounds, just local to the caster. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so this is a channeled spell, and it deals pretty high tick damage while channeling. You can move while channeling it, and it also snares the target as it channels. So it'll build stacks of snare as it keeps going.
I'm gonna try to move a little at him while he's doing it.
Really good for quickly detonating hex as well, because it's a bunch of ticks.
Very cool.
And then referring to the arcane that Noah was alluding to earlier, one of those arcane spells is Hex. This is a debuff that you put on the target, and you'll see that there's a ticking timer on this debuff that when it reaches 0, which you can actually speed up through certain other spells, it'll deal delayed damage at the end. So not quite a dot, but it's a delayed high impact spell once you trigger it.
So it's a delayed burst.
Exactly.
Nice.
Mhm.
Very
And
cool.
some things that'll tick that timer down are ticks from your Spirit Shred, ticks from your Disintegrate. Start that duel again.
Somebody needs to find that string table.
You need to make yourself invulnerable, Adam.
Also, weapon combos will tick it down as well.
Oh, that's cool. So, obviously with the summoner, more so I would say than other archetypes, perhaps except for the cleric, timing is very important here. I mean, because not only are you being cognizant of the cooldowns for your ability rotation, but you're also needing to track the tick rate on some of these effects so that you can ensure they proc all at once and get you that maximum burst effect so that the opponent really doesn't know what's going to come, like, oh shit, I didn't know that I was going to get bursted this much after a few seconds like that. That's obviously something that's going to be very important for summoner playstyle.
Yeah, there's a lot of coordination that comes into play. You can, if you're a high skill player, you can actually have a lot of control over when those things go off. So you could synchronize another one of your big burst damage abilities from your pet with the explosion from Hex and do a lot of burst damage that way.
It also
you can
means
even put your pet in a specific spot, then teleport to where that pet is. Like there's a lot of cool.
oh, the mobility, yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Some not just mobility for the archetype, but unique mobility, right? Like the ability to swap spots with the pet is very interesting. I think that also not just the player of the summoner, but this also introduces an interesting element from a threat assessment standpoint as your opponent being cognizant of summoners around you, right? That you're going to have to track the debuffs you have on your on your nameplate, right? On your HUD. You're going to have to see what you have ticking, what you have on you. It's not all going to be about the world space. It's also going to be a little bit about, watching the effects that are on you, how they're ticking, when they're ticking, the number of stacks that might exist, because that's all threat assessment for your situation, your condition.
Yep.
All right. Are there any other ones you want to highlight right now before we kind of show it in action? And you can
Yeah,
still
let's go
continue.
through. Yeah, let's go through two more of them. This is one of the cool ones, another arcane one. This is a damage spell, but also is good for repositioning your pet. So
Oh,
you
I
can
love
activate
it.
it again to have
So it's
Can
a
you get a little closer to
projectile.
him?
So you're saying, Trad, this is a projectile, and upon impact, you have a secondary activation that allows your summon to port to the impact.
Yep, that's exactly how it works.
That's super cool. What's the delay, or what's the time frame that you have to enable that secondary activation before the opportunity is lost?
It's about 5 seconds right now, so you have a little bit of time, little grace window if you want to delay that for some reason, or if you want to weave a spell in between, you can totally do that as well. And if you let enough time go by.
That's cool. That's cool.
So you can also use it as a damage spell, even if you don't want to teleport your pet. You can just kind of not use it the second time.
And what's the cooldown on this ability?
It goes on a
Does it look like
12
12 seconds?
He turned off all his cooldowns
Wow.
earlier.
So it's a 12-second cooldown with a 5-second window, which means if you really time it right, your summon could be mobile with like a 7-second differential. And that distance on the ability is what, like 30 meters, 25 meters?
right. Yeah, you can send them as long a distance as the projectile will reach. So
Wow, that's like a 50-meter transition every 7 seconds if you wanted to, almost.
here my pet
That's
could be way over
huge.
here. So I can port them pretty much. I think there is a limit, but you can send them pretty far.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
far.
before everyone's like summoner OP.
Summoner OP. Well, summoner is maybe a little OP right now. That might be true. I think some of the commentary I've heard on the PTR at the moment is that summoner is way OP. But that's to be expected, right? New archetype, new class who dis. That's standard.
And then the last one we're going to show, speaking of teleports, we've got their prime mobility skill, which swaps places with the pet. It's called transpose.
Yeah, if you're getting smacked up, you can be like, peace.
Yep.
So can you chain both of those so that you use the projectile and then swap places?
Play some mind games.
You absolutely can.
Oh yeah, one hundo.
Nice.
Yes.
Now, what happens when your summoner main rogue secondary and you
Yep.
do swap behind somebody like that? That's gonna make for some
Owie.
interesting augments.
Hint, hint.
Hint,
All
hint.
right.
Now you want to talk about the augments.
All right.
All right,
but
let's-
yeah, I think that's what we're
Let's
all
show
we're gonna
this.
talk about.
Let's show this bad boy in play.
Yeah, let's go kill some things. I want to see these things murder stuff. Beating on Adam is only so fun for so long.
Hashtag
That's why I've
blame
got to
Adam.
tank that.
So where are we at right now? Are we at the church?
We are in civilian.
Oh, civilian. Nice. Okay, cool.
Mhm. The remnants. The great remnants.
Gonna play with cooldowns. Not gonna cheat.
Yeah, no cheating with cheaters. We don't have Steven here, so he won't train us. It's wrong. So let's talk a little bit about, I know we did talk about the design previously on one of the other streams, but some people might not have been here. What was the design behind the summoner? Like, what were you guys trying to aim for, make and ensure that it was like the core value of the summoner for gameplay?
So hold on, can you guys invite me to the party? I think I'm still in a duel.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
I was like,
Are
what's
you?
going on here?
Oh, because you were PvP.
Flag. Uh-oh.
Yeah. No, I think we're all flagged. You have to be flagged to be able to heal. So anyway.
There we go. Oh yeah. So the
Except for
philosophy
Jim.
philosophy behind the summoner was that you are a caster, so you have your own set of spells,
Oh, oops.
Uh-oh.
but you also are playing a lot through your pet. And we wanted to strike a good balance with that. You know, sometime in some games, you know, you are your pet, and your pet is all of your power. In other games, your pet is kind of a little extra thing next to you that doesn't really make a big difference to your overall performance. We wanted to strike a midpoint with that. So that's one thing we're also looking for feedback on, is how is that balance. There have been moves towards some of the feedback, which was
Do you want it to be balanced, or do you want it to be like they have a choice to make it more more pet based or more character based?
I mean, the direction is to balance it, but that is what we're looking for feedback on, is how much, you know, we've gotten feedback in both directions. Some people
Mhm.
really like a dot based warlock style character, and other people want to see, you know, you have this pet and the pet is all of your power.
Ooh, big guy. Sorry.
Yeah, stay tight in here too, because like the respawn's behind us.
Yeah, we're looking to strike a balance, and so if we're not striking that balance, then we want to hear about it. But there have been some more mechanics that have been added to make the pet a little more interactive.
I also think that
Awesome.
when we're talking about the base archetype, right, and we're talking about how it can be flexed based off of your secondary decision later, right, we have to think ahead. We have to think towards what the end goal is for class design, and that actually does take into account, tongue-in-cheek aside, the augment system and the secondary archetype systems, and that's where perhaps that balance starts to then specialize, right, and players can start to make those decisions. We want to leave those types of decisions in the player's hands, and the base archetype is a more balanced starting point.
And that's also why,
I'm a
you know,
bigger
if you
guy.
look at the pet ability kits, for example, you know, each pet has 3 abilities, and part of that was kind of identifying what can we give the pets that will reinforce their roles, but still leave room for, you know, another ability or two that might come through when the pets, you know, enter an augmented phase. Just so happens that our Spirit Guardian shares a rig with this Crystal Golem that we're fighting right now, or the Wandering Aberrant that we just killed, and that is on purpose.
So is that like patricide or something? Is it killing his father, the old father?
Aw.
It's just his cousin.
Oh, okay.
Cousin
just
from
cut.
another mother.
There you go. Okay.
Long distance, second cousin.
The rig is cousin, but if it were, you know, mesh or something, that would be more direct family relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
I
it.
would just need one Aberrant
Speak-
with 2 giant bone shields on each hand.
Speaking of the look,
So-
do you want to talk a little bit more about? I know we talked a little bit about the visual design, but if you want to talk about it more deeply, Jim, and then maybe toss it to some of your other wonderful artists here as well.
Yeah, you know, actually, before we go there, I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to fully take advantage of the fact we have a lot of people watching this right now.
Yeah,
What
go
do you
for
all
it.
think about the colors of our Guardians? They're all yellow, right? They have different rules because they're different archetypes. Should we push that? Should we shift it? Maybe go with some healing colors for our healer, tank colors for, you know, our Guardian. Where do we go with this? Right now, I think it's awesome, by the way, but maybe there's room for improvement.
Well, and actually, if I could expand on that question, you know, if we're going to posit this to the community, Jim, when you think about, you know, color composition, you think about art style guide for specific archetypes. Are you wanting to see a blend of colors that are perhaps more indicative of different schools of magic? So one archetype might have access to multiple schools, and those schools have specific color identities? Or do you want the color identity to be more restrictive to the archetype itself? So the tank is always, you know, reds and or aggro colors, and the healers are always golds, you know, and, you know, so on. Like, that's obviously, this is a very subjective question. You know, it can go either way. Many games go either way in that direction. We've all
I think
played
it's
different
interesting
types.
too when you get to mass combat, because we have such big elements like sieges and wars, and I think when you get that many people together and like large world bosses, you can get a little bit of VFX overload sometimes.
Oh, for
Well,
sure.
that's-
And as long as the
Yeah.
color association is really indicative of effect conferred, then you're giving the proper information, right? If I see a gold and I know gold is healing related, if I see a red and I know that that's going to draw aggro, if I see, a burst shape language and I know that that's a damage effect, right? Like those are the types of indications that players want to have as quick acuity visually.
It's a good point, and it's something we don't actually talk about too often, but we have a ton of shape language in every single one of our
Adam's taking
visual
over
effects.
tanking.
And our colors all have a meaning and a purpose in there. They all have the intent long term to interplay with a lot of our different types of archetypes when we do multiple classes and such. But I am always looking for ways to expand on that and creatively think about how can we make this even better. So I'm curious. I'm happy where it's at right now, but I think that there's always a way that we can make this even more immersive for people.
Yeah, if I think about where we were, Jim, 4 years ago, during Alpha 1, boy, talk about soup, right? We weren't really conveying any of that information. We were just like, all right, we need an effect. We need to get something in here. We need to test this thing. And
Yes.
I think what you and Natalie and the other artists and leads have done, in helping to unify that language in something that's now obviously very consistent and capable of giving information to the player is a significant improvement. So kudos to you guys. Well done.
Oh yeah, I can't understate how important Natalie and Ryan Richmond, the entire concept team has been to that whole process. Like kudos to you guys. It's really helped over the last 2 years. Like we're just getting started. So it's good to see it finally come to fruition.
Yeah.
You guys are kicking butt here. Holy
Well, just
smokes.
to clarify for our players' perspective, what we've been doing so far with Magic, as people were kind of alluding to, I feel like from a listener's perspective, it'll almost be like they joined halfway into a conversation, But basically, we try and tailor the visuals of all of our VFX to match whatever magical element that effect is conveying, right? So that way it'll be very clear that this effect is doing this type of damage, and then
Oh, look at that blood.
your resistance to that damage is more relevant, right?
Who,
And so
who
you
just...
get.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Don.
Oh yeah, but I think it's just
Oh,
better
no,
for communication
that's
to
a
have
ball
things work that way, and that's kind of how we've got it going currently. And there's been a lot of internal discussion back and forth on, well, do we need to really stick to these color spaces consistently for each magic type, or can we be a little bit more creative with them at times, For example, one of the Harbinger bosses has a healing ability, and that I did the
Spoilers.
VFX for.
Spoiler
And-
alert.
Minor spoiler. And originally, I kept the colors for it in sort of like the blue, purpley void space, of like arcane stuff, because they're void creatures. But because it's a healing ability, we ended up deciding to switch it to be in the healing color space. So that way, players will very obviously know that, oh, this is a healing ability that's being charged up. It's not,
I just want to
like
say
a
that
tank.
tank that Guardian is saving our butt right now.
Yeah,
for
I don't know.
sure.
Yeah.
That Guardian is
Yeah.
something supernatural. Like, what is happening?
Spam healing them.
Like go Guardian. I'm not even tanking this thing at all.
Oh, no.
Afraid I'm
You
out.
jinxed
Oh,
it.
no, that's what
You
I'm doing.
jinxed it. You jinxed the Guardian.
Yeah, exactly.
My summoning sickness.
I was
What
like,
have you
I'm spamming
done?
the word.
You shouldn't have even looked at it.
You guys can make more
So-
though.
So Trad,
You can make more.
the hunter, like, does the hunter do more sustained damage or burst damage? Like,
Both. Yeah, he
Nice.
he does he definitely does a lot of burst if you build a whole bar of resource and then burn it all at once. There are also some synergies you can do where he'll apply a status effect and then he'll apply an upgraded status effect on subsequent uses. So there's a lot of burst you can get from that as well. But yeah, he's just a good all around damage pet, but obviously at the cost of utility. You're not getting the healing from the Mystic or the aggro and the protection CC from the Guardian, or as much.
Maybe that's what people are talking about with the Summoner OP comments. If it does
Oh.
both burst and sustained, it's
Oh, it was so much worse. Like I think usually when you hear the Summoner OP, it's the first release when we hadn't balanced it yet. It was
no.
hitting like 10 times as hard as it was supposed to. So we'll see if people still have the same sentiment. I think people people think it's a little more reasonable now.
Can that just become a meme in the community? So does a summoner do burst or DP or sustain? Both.
Both. Yeah, right.
The answer is yes.
Yes, all of the above.
Natalie, did you want to add anything else additionally?
I'll never forgive Trad for adding another element.
For
For adding
What?
a spirit.
I like the stats
we
that
had
you
this
choose.
whole
You choose fighting
perfect
words.
chart. Everything was like polished and ready to go, and then he was like, "By the way, they do spirit damage." It's like, oh, okay.
I was reviewing the abilities, and all I kept seeing over and over was spirit, spirit, spirit. I was like, wait a minute.
Yep. Yeah, the first version of Summon, they're all like probably 85% of the abilities were spirit damage.
I was.
That was
not-
great.
That was not in the style guide.
Yeah, I was not on the cards. But we found a solution for it. It looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it's looking
Not
good.
bad.
Looks great.
And then Noah, you wanted to talk about a couple of the other abilities and some of the complexity that came with them.
Yeah, I mean, just really briefly, I guess, just to show them off a little bit because I'm really happy with how they turned out. Void was a super fun one to work on,
Ooh.
to have
Yeah.
the sort of black hole theming to it.
Like a
I
Venn
set up
diagram?
the materials so you can sort of
Venn
look down
diagram.
into
Oh,
the
you
void.
should do
Into
5
the
of
void.
them. We can make like an Olympic.
Into it.
Yep. So yeah, Void was a really fun one to work on. Very powerful ability as well. We haven't highlighted it here, but it silences any enemy inside of its radius. So you do that, and then you also root something, and that thing is pretty screwed. So
It's
another
definitely
one I wanted
handy to have some silences on you for certain bosses.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, just a lot of the other ads as well. There's a lot of very dangerous ads who have big damaging abilities. And
So I know people are going to ask this question from a PvP perspective, Trad. When you use that black hole, the silence will not apply unless the target is flagged. Is that right?
Yeah, it follows the same rules as any other
Perfect.
offensive
Good.
effect.
Was there one more that
And,
you wanted us to
yeah,
talk
so
about?
one other one I wanted to really talk about. I mean, I think Mass Affliction is fun. Doing the void or the dark kind of tentacles was fun to make. But the one I wanted to highlight from a functionality perspective, maybe you can capture my POV for a second, Kyle, is Phase Out. So Phase Out makes you invulnerable to everything for a short duration. And wait, I need to turn off my cooldowns for a second here so I can keep showing it. So the cool thing about Phase Out, you can see there's quite a lot of distortion associated with Phase Out. And I know a lot of people like to play with the camera closer into their character. So I set up the ability so that if you zoom in, the distortion goes away and it won't obstruct your point of view. Otherwise, your whole screen would be a blurry mess.
It's pretty cool. Phase Out's a strong ability.
Oh, it's super
Dread
useful.
needs to move his camera and go back down.
Oh, nice.
He always moves it back up.
Classic, standard gameplay.
Oh, you got to see everything, right?
You got that FOV hack in.
So I know that you mentioned, obviously, you want some feedback on the pets and the balance between the pet and the summoner. Are there any other things that you guys are looking for feedback on specific to the summoner?
I mean, definitely anything to do with responsiveness. We know that some of that is going to come through just from, lag, right? Server latency is going to cause some issues with responsiveness. But at the same time, when you're dealing with a state machine like we are with pets, and you give that, into players' hands and they can throw as many variables and circumstances as you can think of, they're going to come up with a whole lot of other issues that we just can't catch on our own. So if you're seeing wonky behaviors, if you're seeing things that you expect to happen that aren't happening, or vice versa, the unexpected is happening, definitely flag it. Definitely let us know. Hashtag blame me if you must. But that's definitely something that I've got my eye on.
Don't blame
Awesome.
Adam.
Anything else?
It's never Adam's fault.
Blame
It's
Adam.
always engineering. We don't have engineering here, right? Okay, perfect.
That's
I would
it,
love
right?
to-
We're nativizing it all now, so it's out of my
It
hands.
is.
I would love to know how people's gameplay experiences are whenever they go cleric and summoner, because I think you guys are going to
Oh,
wreck
yeah.
everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
like
guess
at
one
the
other,
party when they group up.
So another quick shout out. We just mentioned engineering, but I feel like we've shouted out everybody but engineering so
No,
far.
Adam got Zach Wilson. He got
Oh, he
Zach.
did. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
Zach
early
and
on,
Ryan?
Zach
yeah.
and Ryan.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And Ryan
Uh,
Farrell, that's right.
Rittmeyer helped with the summoner as well, right? Like I
Yep.
called out the pets, but we had Rittmeyer who was helping out with some of the core summoner ability functionality.
The hidden heroes.
Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
engineers are
Speaking-
the key to everything.
The wizards behind the curtain.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Speaking of being wizards, you know, testers don't often really get to see or hear about like the development side of things from like other games. Do you all have any like fun stories you can share that happened while developing the summoner so far?
Oh yeah, what's been the what was the biggest hurdle you had to get through?
I know Adam has a story.
Aside,
God.
aside from the 20 reviews that we had to do for the summoner pets and
Oh my
ability.
god.
Oh my god! I wish we could show that. We should show all the different concepts.
Wait, hey, we recorded
this.
After my fifth
Little
review,
fish version.
I said, didn't we already approve these?
I'm sorry,
so-
man. I get picky.
Yeah, I mean, mine's not so much a hurdle, but it's definitely a funny anecdote. As I was just mentioning, we definitely see some interesting behaviors when we're dealing with state machines, especially state machines that respond to player input and control. And what we noticed is that under certain circumstances, players can actually get multiple pets. And the interesting thing about this is that because we do want to, again, not being a commitment, but it's definitely like in mind that, maybe one day we give players the ability to command multiple pets. So that functionality actually exists. So there was one time where I think it was Brian was playtesting with us, and all of a sudden this tank pet just comes zooming out of the forest and then disappears. I'm like, what is going on here? Where did this thing come from? We eventually isolated it. Like this thing had gotten stuck somewhere in the world and was its own orphaned pet, but still belonged to Brian. So if he was close enough that it wouldn't like forcibly despawn, he could actually command it in addition to another pet. So of course he whips out a healing pet, right? And now he's got a healing pet that he sicks on the tank pet, and then he just commands the tank pet onto 3 stars, and he's just soloing them like nothing. And
Yeah.
he didn't want to log out, and I don't blame him.
Sounds like an
Of
augment to me.
course. Is this my
Yeah.
husband,
Yeah.
the one who's
That's
choosing
somebody
us?
That sounds intended.
Hey, look, Brian's a min-maxer, so I can't fault him.
He very much is. Oh my
Well, I
goodness.
feel like if someone goes summoner and they choose summoner again, they deserve more than one pet.
Oh, that is the plan. That is the plan. I think I actually made
yeah.
an announcement about that in the past, like years ago.
Yep.
Multiple pets
All right.
confirmed.
Well, we could be here all day showing off the summoner, but I think we are going to need to wrap it up here. Obviously, we would love for you guys to hop in PTR, test it out, check it out. Whenever we launch this big update, you're going to get your hands on it as well. If you're not able to hop in the PTR, but all Alpha 2 access users all have access to PTR. So we hope that you'll enjoy and come join us. Are there any final things you guys want to make sure folks are aware of? Tell them, share with them.
There is actually one other thing that I want to call attention to. So we have this additional pet command. It's got this like little circle icon. Trad or Noah or whoever we're focused on at the moment can just quickly hover over that. So the last time
Trad,
that
if
we
you can
talked
show
about
that.
the summoner. Yep. So the last time we talked about the summoner back in May, I had mentioned that we weren't anticipating that we would have automation for our pet abilities at release. And that is still kind of true. We aren't going to have automation on a per ability basis where you can like say, I want to automate taunt, but not, brace or stomp. So as a holdover,
And just to be clear, I'm sorry, Adam, just to be clear, at release, you're talking about
yeah,
for
summoner
this-
release.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly, perfect, yes,
The
okay.
release of the summoner. Oh my goodness, I hope we have it before a full release.
Yes, that's right.
But I did want to make sure that for players who either don't want to or may for whatever reason not be able to micromanage their pet abilities, that they had some amount of automation available to them. So we did add this button, and if you press this button, it's going to just make sure that any ability that we flagged for automation will be automated. It's just all abilities, all pets. So there's a little bit of that functionality, but we are going to improve that in the future.
So if you press that, so if you have your pet attacking a target and you press that ability, what is that going to do? It's going to automate that attack?
So it's going to automate. So the pets will always automate, like, an auto attack, or in the case of the Mystic, on an ally, an auto heal.
Right.
But in the case where the Guardian has access to abilities like Taunt or Stomp, or the Hunter has Eviscerate, those abilities will auto fire based on some internal rules that we've created. We haven't exposed what those rules are to the players, but that being said, this is another great point of feedback, because there are some abilities that we purposefully held off from automating, and of course there's also rules that we put into the automation to make sure that they fire under certain circumstances. But if players are not seeing automation that they want to see, or they're seeing automation that they don't feel like should be there, definitely let me know.
Well, yeah, I think that's a great request, Adam, and a really good clarification for everyone out there. Obviously controls are very subjective, right? We all have very different experiences that are formative in our years of learning how to play MMORPGs, and those can be diverse, and that can really influence what we prefer. But giving us feedback on the types of flexibility, customization options, and controls that you want to see, especially for a archetype as hands-on as a summoner is going to be very useful for us as we iterate. It's a very good call out, Adam.
All right. Anything else you guys want to say before we wrap it up for today?
I just want to say great job. I mean, kudos to the team. Hearts in chat for those of you who are watching. They did a great job in bringing the summoner to life. I think it's a final addition to our base archetypes. It's what a accomplishment to even make that statement. Super excited to see these classes, these archetypes working in concert with one another as you guys go and complete content in the game and face off against the Ancients, our primary antagonist now, as part of this Harbingers update that is going to be played with people. It's going to be great to see that. As always, we do this open development and have these focuses that Margaret and the community team are so instrumental in providing, you guys out there the opportunity to opine, to give your thoughts, your opinions, leaving feedback on Discord, on the YouTube section for comments, and on our forums and Reddit. I mean, that's obviously what we want to hear from you, is what you've enjoyed about what you saw here today, and how you are enjoying the archetype testing on PTR. We need players to come and give us their thoughts, to find the bugs so that we can continue to iterate and refine these classes. And I think this is a great start to the Summoner. Very excited to see it. Well done, guys.
Yeah, GG. I am normally like a cleric main, but I've been having a lot of fun playing the Summoner. Not gonna lie, I've been debating.
That's the thing that I think is
Swapping
super
it
cool, is that we get to see. I think the addition of this archetype will really open up a lot of oddball party compositions that, it's going to be fun to see.
Yes, I can't wait to run across the 8-man
belt. Sick upgrade.
The 8 summoner party. You just
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
We debated
no.
doing the full summoner party for the showcase.
I just want to see that stomp attack like off cooldown every single second
Yeah,
by
yeah.
8 guardians.
Make sure there's like screen shake too.
Oh no.
And
All
now
right,
you
well,
know
thank
why
you
I
guys so
said
much.
maybe we could shift the colors on a different set. See?
Maybe.
I'm thinking ahead. Anyway, sorry.
There you
Go
go,
ahead.
there you go.
Excuse me,
No,
Meg.
you're good, Jim. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate everyone's time. As Steven said, leave us your feedback, and we'll see you guys. Steven and I will see you all back on the live stream.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, it seems like folks enjoyed that. I know a lot of you have been checking out the Summoner on PTR, but for those of you who haven't, and this is your first view of like the proper gameplay and not just like our edited down version of it, but if you do want that, we also have that over on our YouTube channel if you want something that's more shareable to your friends. But I did want to make one note that Austin did the Spirit Mystic model and texture, and then Jincy did the Guardian Hunter. Just because we just want to give love to they start every time you list names, and that's what I always tell Stephen and Jim, and then I'm like, once you start listing names, if you get something wrong, it can be a thing. So I just wanted to make a note about that. Are there any Summoner things you want to mention, Stephen? I think most of the questions folks had we answered in the in the showcase for the most part. And then the
Yeah.
other things, you got to get your hands on it. You got to check it out. You got to
Yeah,
craft.
Yeah, just to reiterate, I mean, obviously, those of you with access to Alpha 2, those of you who are participating in the PTR testing, the summoner is available. As Trad was saying, and as Adam was saying, the balance passes, we're going to be doing that over the next several weeks. It's going to be important for us to make sure that we, land how this archetype lives with the other archetypes, and that's going to require testing and feedback, the standard loop of iteration that we would come to expect from our glorious testers. So make sure to let your thoughts be known. Give your opinion and give it a whirl and see what you think. And we'll be in touch in Discord and on the forums and making changes, and look forward to those.
All right, now we're going to move on to our special announcement. There's going to be a lot of information for you guys in this next segment, and we have a little video. But first, we're going to let Stephen do a little prefacing of what's to come here.
Yes. So maybe we should all just kind of take a moment. Let's take this moment in together with each other, right? There's almost 3,000 people right now that are watching. Our glorious community of testers, people who have been with us along this way. We have been here now in this alpha environment for over a year. Holy smokes, who would have thought? I mean, where we were years ago to where we are today is a very big difference. This is it's quite a large amount of progress that we have made, not just as a company and as a studio, growing from our humble beginnings, just a ragtag team of a dozen or so people back in 2017 when we first announced this, the project, and went to Kickstarter and said, hey, we have these grand ideas to build this MMORPG, non-faction based open world fantasy with no pay to win and focused on, what the players want to see, a more old school touch, to where we are today. Now with a year of this Alpha 2 under our belt, a significant portion of the landmass in place. We have a long way to go from a content perspective, but from a core technology standpoint, I mean, even in PTR, huge accomplishment over the course of this last week that we saw live splitting for the dynamic gridding that was happening on PTR. Big congrats to that. Very happy to see it. And every step of the way, our community has been an integral component of the success and progress that we as a development team are capable of making. Because it's not possible, obviously, without our community and without people who want to see this project come to life. I mean, ultimately, that's the whole point of us taking this kind of transparent development approach where we're here with you every month, albeit this time we were a couple weeks late. Unfortunately, that was unavoidable. But every single month, providing updates on our progress and what we're building and why we're building it and how we're doing it and what changes we're making. I mean, I saw a lot of happy faces when you saw the duels that were implemented. We made some changes in this milestone because of the feedback that we received from the community about getting duels in game. And of course, we are going to extend that obviously to party dueling as soon as we can, and eventually raid dueling. And we're going to have some in-game arena locations where there might be some, flagging options and whatnot that we're going to prioritize. But when we started Alpha 2 back in October of 2024, we talked a little bit about the phases, phase 1 and phase 2 being focused on stability and focused on optimization efforts and, establishing a lot of that core tech in the world. And phase 3, we talked about that being where we would introduce a larger portion of the audience. Of MMORPG enthusiasts, people who may not be following along in our development, who might be kind of at a distance aware of Ashes of Creation, but aren't necessarily following the development because, that's not their gig. They don't want to follow a game that's as in the trenches of active development as we historically have been. But the expectation was that when phase 3 came, that would be a setting where we would be more capable of expanding that testing audience, that player audience, to really validate what it is that we are trying to do with Ashes of Creation, both from a game design perspective, from a company and a dev perspective, as well as ultimately where we feel the genre needs to go in order to evolve, in order to create more dynamic worlds, something that is predicated on player activity and decision and community choices. And we have a very big announcement today that is shortly going to be coming up. And I think that it is going to be one that is going to continue to push us forward in the development of Ashes and include a lot of new voices. And we're going to get into talking about the details of that announcement after you see this brief trailer that we're going to be showing. We talked about a little bit of a marketing push here at the end of 2025. This has been a big year for us, and 2026 is going to be an even bigger year for us. We're very excited about it. But stay tuned for after this. We're going to go into detail about what it means for you as a tester, what it means for the project, what it means for the next phase of our alpha leading into beta and eventually launch. We are getting closer, guys, and we are focused on what is important. So let's take a look.
Vera was once a world of abundance. Great empires flourished and spread across endless seas. Its people, your people, carved kingdoms from wilderness, daring any perils that lay between. For at the heart of this world lays the essence, magic itself. But this wondrous age of discovery and purpose left few prepared for the horrors to come. For the ancients showed no mercy. Survivors were advised to flee to the divine gates. An age passed before the gates reawakened. But now, you and your people have returned to reclaim your ancestral home. Your destiny awaits.
Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be expanding our testing audience and players to incorporate a much larger community, and we are excited. Margaret, talk to us a little bit about what this means.
Oh my gosh, so many things. But first, look at that trailer. A lot of love to our character environment artists who kicked butt and made such a beautiful world, obviously. And then we also worked with Brazen, who is an amazing studio, to create this wonderful trailer. So we hope that you enjoy it. It is very much a lore trailer. The goal is to kind of have something that's a little bit more evergreen for us to use for future stuff. So you definitely will be seeing this maybe at some events and other places and spaces. But you kind of follow Riley as she's coming back from, or, coming through, and she's an oracle. She's seeing this kind of flashback of what's happening, what happened in the past. And,
yes.
And for the first time is like summoning the essence herself, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and of course, we have plenty, copious amounts of gameplay footage that we provided from an update perspective. But when we're talking about expanding our audience now to incorporate, as I said prior to the trailer, a less engaged, less aware, player, they're going to want to see something that gives them a very quick understanding of what's the world that I'm getting involved with. What's the idea of the story here? And I think in the minute and 30 seconds that we have with this trailer, as beautiful as it is, as Margaret said, the amazing collaboration between our artists, between Brazen Studio in preparing this, it gives really good context for understanding, like, as a player, you're returning to an environment that's unknown, that's fraught with danger. That is also a canvas where you can build again a civilization and have a hand in that development. And I think this captures that pretty well, while also giving the understanding and setting for We're a fantasy game. We're a Wizards and Knights type of game. There's an antagonist now that we're introducing with the Harbingers update in our Ancients that have always been the primary antagonist of our story, but has something that we've held relatively close to the chest from a content and update perspective that you are now getting to experience for the first time, although we'll be refining that on the PTR setting within the PTR. So, you know, it is going to be something that it is easily digestible and gives context for a new viewer.
Yeah, and so now a lot of you probably wonder, what does this mean? Why are we doing this? So we're going to go over the why, the what, the how, all the details, and hopefully that gives you guys the answers. We'll also have an article that goes over all of this stuff too, so that it's easy for you to digest that way if you prefer it. But I know a lot of people don't like reading. So as we mentioned before, as far as updates go, just kind of make sure that you know the dates and timelines for things. Upcoming testing, we are going to have Alpha 2, Lotharia, and Shoal realms down while we're doing PTR testing, but they will be available November 15th through 16th and November 26th through December 1st. And December 1st will be our big community send-off. We'll have vendors for you guys, some special mount vendors, things like that. So we'll have a little event that you can participate in. It'll be throughout the day for the various different time zones. I know our EU folks and our NA folks all want to be able to participate. So we'll try to make sure it's something that you can all participate with on December 1st. That will be our send off. And then we will be wiping the Alpha 2 realms as we had mentioned previously. And there's, you know, obviously we're going to have a big start on December 11th with everybody. So it's going to be a whole thing. But in the interim, we will also be doing the testing that Stephen had talked about. November 17th through 25th and December 2nd through December 10th. A lot of bug fixing, a lot of refining of content. So you're going to be seeing a lot of things happening very quickly here. Those of you who have been with us for a long time, you have seen change happen very, very quickly within like a weekend. So there's definitely stuff. We've got stuff cooking, and it's
and let me speak a little bit to that actually. You know, obviously, as you guys are aware, there is a divide in our development team between those who focus on future content and future features and those who are focused on servicing the live testing environment on the production environment or on the PTR. And that juggling can be very difficult, obviously, for any team as a live service game. And, you know, when we are able to direct and focus the entirety of our development group to the current live environment and focus on buying down bugs and focus on stability and optimization, and we put on pause new content and new feature development, we're able to make a lot of changes within a very short period of time, as Margaret was talking about. And so we have been focused on that with our latest Harbinger update over the course of the last few weeks. And over the course of the next 4 weeks, we will be entirely dedicated as a team, 100% of the team focused on polishing, stabilizing, optimizing, and getting ready the current environment of the Harbinger update that we have for that December 11th launch. And it does come with significant amount of econ updates, obviously, as well as additional content and features such as the sports fishing, both freshwater and saltwater, the new boat that's coming, the Harbinger events. There is a considerable amount of content and features that will be incorporated that's on the PTR and testable, and we will be expecting you guys to help us test over the course of these next 4 weeks on PTR.
And some things that are still coming. So there's some changes to the starting quest lines and the economy elements of that. So you guys will definitely be seeing some of that stuff coming online over these weeks as well. We're really focused testing. There's going to be surveys. There's going to be feedback requests. Participating in those will be, I mean, we are making like changes very quickly based on the data and the information that we're getting. We'll also be doing exploit and dupe hunting. So we've already, like, these will be, we'll have rewards for people who are the first person to provide like reproducible details. You just do /bug, you make a mark that it's an exploit, and you give us all the information. And, you know, we've been doing like the first 5, but really there's only been like 1 or 2 people who give us details usually. But we do want to do a little shout out to Gul'dan, who found a gathering spawn bug for us, and Smork, who found a boat buff exploit, and Dusty, who found a mob drop table exploit. We've given all of them a Shatterclaw mount, and if you are somebody who finds multiple things for us, there are other stuff that we'll provide for folks as well. So we are definitely wanting to find those things early rather than late, and please don't exploit them. Please just report them. We will reward you for reporting them to us. If you don't, you may get banned. So that is, pick your flavor. We've definitely been pretty adamant on that. And I know there's been conversation about gold and things like that. We've also been taking action on accounts on that front, and even people who are buying. So we are definitely involved in that process. So, and keeping an eye out for those things. And we're working on tools to help us even get better and faster at them.
And then, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
For the Harbinger update, this is version 18. This will be what we'll be launching with for early access for Alpha 2. This is going to be December 11th. I know we had previously said November 18th was a date that we were trying to target for, but we are now going with December 11th, with this also accumulating with Steam and kind of giving us a little bit more time to really refine and polish, like Stephen had mentioned before. This comes with, like we've talked about, a full wipe. It comes with Lithari and Shoal realms returning. We may also have potentially some other realms, depending on how many folks we have. We will be monitoring realms to make sure that we are, providing a good service to you guys. And all Intrepid and Steam users will be able to play together. You won't be separated. And then the PTR will continue as needed whenever we need to bring that up. We've always said that, our goal is to try to keep things up as long as possible, but there are going to be times where we have to come down for maintenance or swap things or adjust things. And really right now we need your guys' help on PTR, making sure that this is going to be a good update for you guys to enjoy for the holiday weekend. So we can be rest assured that over the holiday or break, it's more than a weekend, it's like 2 weeks or whatever, the holiday break, that, we can be happy, you guys can be happy, we can all play together and have a great time over this holiday break in December, and just have a really, really good time. I know there's going to be people who are wondering, like, do I have to move to Steam? You do not have to. So if you are somebody who wants to just play the normal way, you can just play the way that you have been. If you're interested in playing through Steam, you can add it into your Steam library. You can add any game to your Steam library. But the current plan is that is the current way to do it. But we are looking into ways that we can entitle some users who already have access, but that we'll give more information on that if we're able to do that. Right now, it's either you purchase through Steam or you purchase through us, and you play through either of those means.
And
Stephen, do you want to talk a little bit more
go
about why we're going into early access and kind of give people like the why aspect of this?
Absolutely. So, as we had talked about early on with regards to phase 3 and validating our gameplay systems, our gameplay loops, and expanding that audience to incorporate voices who perhaps not have been so involved with the development of the game, that is something that's very important. In addition, it is an expensive process to build this product, and we want to bring to market not just the opportunity for people to become involved, but also from a revenue generating perspective to expand potential development opportunities with outsourcing. And Steam is a great way to do that. They have an existing platform that is easily accessible by PC users, that has genre specific interest and demographics of people who are interested in the MMORPG space. And this is something that is an important next step kind of evolution for the product, something that we know and have spoken about for the last year, with phase 3 being when we would expand that population. And it's not just to Steam that we are actually intending to expand that population. We are also going to be inviting all Beta 1 and Beta 2 pre-order users to participate starting December 11th as well. So if you own a beta package and you have been waiting and watching on the sidelines to participate, we are going to be inviting you guys to participate as well.
And that will be starting December 11th.
That is correct, yes. So it's going to be a big important step for us, right? It's not going to be without pain. Obviously, every step of the way is going to be like giving birth to a child. This is what
no. As someone who has given birth to a child, no. Not the
To be-
same.
To be fair, this is a very big baby. But no, I mean, it is look, we're aware of Steam. We're aware that not everybody's going to understand what a development environment looks like, what an alpha looks like, what our early access particularly is going to look like. We are obviously intimately aware with the opportunities there can be for Steam reviews to perhaps be negative at some point. But every step of the way for this project, for Ashes of Creation, and the path we've chosen to take, the open development process has been a risk, right? We've had people screaming from the rooftop since 2017 and every year there since that we wouldn't make progress to the next year, that we wouldn't make
Every
progress
year
to
we're
Alpha 1,
progressing, man.
that we
Yeah.
wouldn't make progress to Alpha 2. And the reality the reality is you don't make progress without pain. And sure, there may be some initial negative reviews that we get, but what it's going to require of us as the development team and of you guys as our core community, as our golden cohort of a community, to invite those external users in, to give them an opportunity to see the vision for what Ashes of Creation can be, and to participate in the conversation about what should change and what type of iteration might exist. This is going to be putting us on a center stage to perform, which we will rise to the occasion to do. It could be a little bit bumpy at first, but it's important for us to continue moving forward. When I look at the negative commentary that we see, about our project from external users who are not a part of our community, the two chief complaints that all of us see are it's taking too long and it costs too much to join. And the logical extension of our last year of development in Alpha 2 is to address those two issues for people who might be interested in really what Ashes of Creation is trying to achieve, which is that dynamic world. It's that world that's not pay to win centric like so many of the other great games that are riddled with that pervasive monetization that really destroys the hopes that a lot of us have as gamers in those games, and to be, gamer driven, gamer centric, focused on what the player is looking to see out of the next evolution of the genre. That I think
Can
is
I be a little frank
sure.
about something too?
Go for it. Yes.
I think, a lot of people say, well, it's not fair if you lower the price for new people. And I think there's a lot of cool stuff that you guys get in your packages. And on top of that, it does cost us money to keep realms up, servers up.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of cost that comes to those things. And I just want people to be thoughtful of that, because keeping your servers up and your realms up for, a whole year is a lot of money.
Sure.
And I don't think people are as conscious of that element of things. You've had, some of you have multiple years of content. So
and not only that, but in over the last year, as at least as a company, it's been very important to us to have, in my opinion, an industry defining refund policy, which is hey, look, we knew for this last year.
That's
I know.
Insane.
Insane.
90 days is an insane policy.
I know. Let's think about that for a second. So this last year, we know that alpha is not for everybody. That this was a true alpha, that people who might see the visuals of the game and imagine one thing and then get into the game and see the performance isn't what they expected, or that bugs exist, and then they say this isn't my cup of tea, I'm not a tester, I want a refund. We honored 90-day refund policies, no questions asked about time played. You could have played that entire 90 days, and we have honored that. Now we will be changing that. As of this announcement today, we will be adopting the Steam standard refund policy, which Margaret and the community team will be updating on our KBA and refund policy website. But it's important to note that it is, as Margaret was saying, it is expensive, obviously, to
and that will
run.
be for purchases starting today.
That's right.
So
Yes.
just November 14th. So if you purchase from this date moving forward, we will still honor the 90-day for the previous.
Yes.
So,
But this is a big step for us, right? This is us now moving into the vision of people who are less about active development and more about something that's at a phase where they can get in and play a bit, get an understanding for what the game is trying to be in this early access alpha format, and then provide their feedback. And the feedback could be negative, and that's okay. We're going to work our way through that. But this is the logical extension of us continuing to progress.
all right. Oh, I just knew you were going to stop so abruptly there.
Oh, sorry.
To go into more detail about some of the things that Stephen had mentioned, Wish list is live now. I know there's been people posting the link. If someone from our actual staff can post the link so it can stay in there, you can go check it out. It is, search Ashes of Creation. You can find us. Wish listing supports us greatly. So if you can, we would love for you to just click that little wish list. And if you'd like, you can also follow us. It'll give you, make sure that you are informed about news and updates that we share along the way. We will be sharing there as we do in all of our other platforms. So when we post news posts, we'll post it there too. So we'll be giving equal love like we do all our social platforms too. Early access and like what this means for our shop and our pricing. There's a lot of details here. So this will be written down too for your ease. But starting December 11th, the early access bundle, we're going to have an early access bundle that will be available for $49.99. That will be available on Steam as well as the Ashes of Creation shop. So it'll be available to both. This will include Alpha 2, Beta 1, Beta 2, Beta. It'll also include 1 month of game time and the PTR access, as well as a non-exclusive cosmetic cloak. That cloak is going to be available to everybody. So if you are already an Alpha 2 tester, you will automatically get that cloak as well. You're grandfathered into that cloak. This is for the new people, but all of you old folks who have been joining us and been part of it, you are also going to just automatically get that cloak.
Yes.
A special note to our Steam users, there will be harmonized pricing. Steam kind of has that built in. That is something we've been asked, or it's like regionalized pricing that is built into their system. So for you guys, I think this is going to be very helpful. And we hope that I hope it does help you. From December 11th through 25th, we will be running a sale for 15% off. That means it will be $42.49 for those of you who can't maths. But of course, tax, plays a play in there, but just kind of letting you guys know that that's coming up. We will also have some cosmetic items that will be rotated in. These are going to be independent, individual items. They don't require a bundle purchase or anything like that. So I know that some of you guys want some extra cosmetics that you can put on things. Again, these are cosmetics, no power. You have to have an item to be able to put the thing on it. So just being conscious of those things. And then the third wave bundle will be removed, of course, in replace for this early access bundle on that date.
And then
But we will be leaving the early access bundle up, or the third wave bundle up for now, for people who are still instant gratification, want to get in as well.
We also, I believe, have a special gift for.
There's a bunch of extra
Oh, go
stuff.
ahead.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
my
get to
bad.
that too. That's
Oh,
on
my
my
bad,
next
my
list. So beyond that, I'll skip ahead to that. So we will also be doing, for all current Alpha 2 testers, you will be getting the cloak. And then we will also, for any tester who reaches level 25 during the early access period, we are going to be getting you a Autumn Guardian mount cosmetic. So if you've seen the garden mount, it's kind of like this tree mount. There's going to be an autumn version of that you will get. And then on top of that, all of our users who previously purchased from December 11th before, or played before December 11th.
So just to be clear, I'm sorry, just to be clear, because I see a few people
Yes.
saying, darn, I got to 23. This is the amount that Margaret's
Starting
talking
December
about
11th.
is starting December 11th until the end of early access, which will be at
Yes.
the game launch. If you reach level 25, you will be entitled to that mount.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for being making that
no
more clear.
worries.
It's from, if you play from December 11th to the end of early access, you get and achieve level 25. And then the other one is if you have played before. So before December 11th, if you play, you gotta get in game, you gotta play, you gotta get some.
You have to have it. You have to have at least one character created on your account before December 11th.
And played, time played. You will be receiving the following titles: The Cultist of the Eternal Fire, and Knight of the White Flame. And depending on which title you put on, this will affect your die appearances. So if you wear the Cultist one, your die appearances on your cloak will be black and red. And if you wear the White Flame one, you'll get white and gold. And
So if you're a cultist or a white knight,
reward.
if you're a cultist or a white knight title, you get that die applied to your cloak.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of
be-
tongue in cheek. I thought you guys might
Yeah.
enjoy that.
He was having a little fun with it. And then I just want to make sure I cover the other stuff. We covered who gets early access. So it's all Alpha 1, Beta 2, Beta 1, and Beta 2 folks starting on December 11th. And then we talked about the refund policy. And bin specs are the same. We have those listed on our site for folks, but we implore you to make sure that you're checking that, making sure that you have the right specs. And yeah, I think that covers everything. And of course, you know, community has been a central involvement for Ashes of Creation. You know, throughout our development, we have been gathering feedback. We have been working with you guys. We've been doing play tests and structured and chaotic ones. And, you know, like on our front, it has been a massive aspect of our development process. I have never worked in open development before. It is definitely a different beast within its own. And, you know, I think we talked a little bit about the trials and tribulations of that. And it is, the beauty of it is that we, you know, we have you guys to talk to. We can, you know, hop in and play test and check things out and try things out. And I think that has been an amazing aspect of it. The hard part is the patience. And we know not everybody is interested in that journey. And again, we implore you, if you're not interested, come back to us later. We'll be shouting from the rooftops when we launch in. We've got a very big marketing plan for that. But in the meantime, we would love for folks who are interested in joining us to hop in. If you haven't already, please go wish list. It's a big deal for us. If you can click that little wish list button, share it with your friends, get them to, we'll notify you guys all on December 11th when it's available, and we'll definitely be shouting from the rooftop on that front. And we'll let you know as the sale's getting closer to the end as well, so that you can pick that up before it wraps up. Those of you who have friends or new folks who want to join.
Yep.
Oh
And
my
there is
gosh.
something, there is something
That's
that I
a lot.
want to, I know it is a lot. And I will say that, you know, we are human beings. We are, of course, nervous with you guys about this. It is a big move for us. It is a big progression of our project and our development. And for our team, you know, there's a lot of bittersweet nerves about this, right? We're working hard. But we believe that this is a very important step for the project. And we believe that it is a very important step to validate the designs and the progress that we're making from a development standpoint towards launch, obviously. Now, there is one thing I want to talk about, and you know, I beat this drum a little bit in the past, and right now we have about 3,000 people, as I said, watching. And obviously, you know, this will expand out to probably, you know, 40 or 50,000 or so of you who are participating right now actively, you know, weekly active users so far in the PTR and in the Alpha 2 environment. We're going to be seeing a lot of new faces, and there is a lot that is communicated to those new faces within the first hour of being a part of a community. And that community can be seen either in global chat when they join the game. It can be seen in Discord if they join the Discord, or on forums, or watching here on, you know, if they're watching this on YouTube or watching this on Twitch. And you guys have a considerable leg up on those new faces from just a game knowledge standpoint, from access to the wiki and all the sites, and, you know, having run through, you know, portions of the content that exists already within the game and understanding the class compositions. And, you know, I will just say there's a considerable leg up. And now you can use that knowledge to help be a steward of the community and invite people in and help people and give them information and make them feel invited to this MMORPG. Or you can do the opposite of that. And the choice is really, I mean, in your hand. You can be the dark side or the light side. And to be fair, those are personas that, you know, people enjoy at different times. But I would implore you to be inviting to new users, to be inviting to new people who may not understand.
Answer questions, help them.
Absolutely.
Don't be a jerk.
It is, look, at the end of the day, population is a key component of what makes MMORPGs fun. And your game being good is the primary attractor to population. But in addition to that, in concert to that, a welcoming community and a good community and a helpful community is that much better. So help be partners with us in this, right? As Margaret is saying, help us go wish lists on Steam, you know, help us content creators make some hoopla about what's coming in December. We're very excited about it. We believe it's going to be a very fun time for people, and it's going to give us a lot of good information. But you as individuals in the community, help us invite others in. Help us invite the stranger to this community and let them know what we're about and what we're trying to achieve, and help them see the vision. Because that vision is ultimately why we are all here. And bringing it to life is what's most important to the people on this team and the people who are watching.
All right. Let's switch over to Q&A. I guess we can kind of keep it here though. So it doesn't, we don't really need to change too much. First, foremost, people are asking about referrals. You can have referrals whether you're a Steam user or not. The referral program will still affect. We lose out on money, but that's okay. We're welcoming to referrals, so it won't change whether you make a Steam account or an Intrepid account, and either way you play, it just affects us as a company. Realms, I mentioned this already, but we are bringing back Lotharia and Shoal Realms with wipes on December 11th, but I'm going to reiterate that. If we need more realms, we will bring those online as needed. We monitor the realms, we monitor them all the time, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. From Vladis, they want to know, can we get confirmation if the dupes were fixed or will they be fixed? And I believe
if you submit a dupe, I believe you get information back on that. Is that right?
I am uncertain of how
we will
that is
check with
working
that.
currently.
We will check with that.
But
That
we
is-
do
that's on
we do
QA.
post in our update notes when things are resolved. So we
Fair.
definitely are trying to fix those things as
Yes.
quickly as possible. Lion777 wants to know what's being done to prevent future wipes. I don't think anyone disagrees we need wipes now, but there has to be something to do to reduce them going
Yes.
forward.
Yeah, so I mean, as we have always said, wipes will happen when we need them to. And that is also present on the Steam early access page. It is something we are upfront about. Ultimately, I think you guys can deduce that most of our wipes that we've had to do are related to the economy changes. That's really where we need to see proper progression in order to test and validate the changes that we've made on the economy side of things. And that's in part one of the main reasons for this upcoming wipe in December, outside of the fact that we are adding an additional amount of users. In that regard, every iteration we make on the economy reduces the risk of a wipe going forward. But I can't really make a promise that we're not going to make a wipe in the future, depending on what needs to change, right? So that's why we're upfront about that fact.
Yeah, and even in the state of alpha section of the early access, we're being very clear that you will expect wipes. We're saying that here, with this and with our FAQ, that's like we're trying to make that as clear as possible. We've said that in the past. If we need them, we will use them. We're definitely trying not to as much as possible.
Yep. And one other thing, I saw a question: does the Steam access provide access to PTR as well? And the answer is yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mentioned that already.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. Folks are wondering what happened to beta 1 and beta 2. Are those phases of early access? They will be phases of early access, but they will be phases. So we will transition into them, but they are a part of early access. If you purchase the early access bundle, you are part of that. You're getting access to beta 1 and beta 2 as well.
Yep.
And then the next one here is from Gerald17. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Are the other archetypes going to be touched up and balanced? Fighter needs some love, I feel. I believe there is some balance testing happening. Let me go see what day that's supposed to come to you guys.
Yes, there is some balance testing that's happening. There's also some economy soak testing that's going to be happening over weekends on PTR over the next 4 weeks. And I know that we'll be
as
getting
early as next week, there will be some
There you go.
updates to class kits or archetype kits and balance. So I don't have all the details. I don't know if it'll have your fighter stuff, but there's stuff coming. It's coming.
Yes.
Is Nebula wants to know, after a duel finishes, will the duelers be healed back up? I don't
They
think
should
they
be.
currently are, but they probably should be.
Oh, let me actually think about it. I don't know that they should actually be. That's a good question. I don't think that they should be. I'm sorry. And the reason why is that
Designers.
could be a backdoor exploit
way to,
for
like,
certain
heal or
situations.
something.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People exploit, man. We always have to think of that. Are you going to make crafting cheaper? Right now, it's insanely expensive to craft the entry level weapons, and it does not chime with the funding available to low level characters.
So I do want to say that the introductory experience is getting a lot of TLC over the next 4 weeks that you'll be testing on PTR. TLC being tender love and care for those of you who aren't native English speakers. And that a lot of the pricing components and crafting costs are being rejiggered. It is important to note that this is the philosophy. So this is the core philosophy of gear acquisition in the game. Each grade of gear has low end, middle, and high end, right? Grading being level 1 through 10, 10 through 20, 20 through 30. Within that grade, you have low, medium, and high types of gear. The low types of gear should be easily accessible either from drops or from quests or from crafting that you'll get access to. The medium and high types of gear within that grade are centrally focused around crafting and or boss drops or raid boss drops. So you should have easier accessibility in these new revisions that we're doing on the econ side with regards to low tier gear within grades. And if you want to have the medium or higher tier within those grades, you're going to craft, acquire the materials necessary, or defeat the bosses and the content that's necessary. That is the concept that we are trying to elicit out of our testing with PTR changes. So that's incoming. That should be actually presently available.
All right. And then the next one here that I want to get ahead of, where was it? Will people with Kickstarter packs that give beta keys get those keys prior to December 11th when beta gives access to testing? No. So those beta keys will come to you when we start the beta phase. So technically there will still be a beta 1 and a beta 2 phase. We are just we're bringing you all into the early access element of it now, early, but your additional beta keys, those will come, you'll get those. We're still figuring out whether that'll be through your dashboard or through email. I think we'll definitely do dashboard is what I'm leaning towards so that they don't get lost in people's emails.
Yeah.
But we'll give you your keys so that you can hand those out, but when those phases actually start. But if you are an Alpha 1, Alpha 2, Beta 1, Beta 2, you've purchased any of those, you will get access on December 11th.
Yeah, right now there's about a little over 150,000 people who have access and who have logged in at some point throughout the Alpha 2. Right, we've seen significant spurts of daily active users at the launches of Phase 1 and Phase 2 and 2.5 and 3, and then that dwindles as we approach, different types of wipes and new phases. With the beta users, people who just have access to Beta 1 and Beta 2, we are grandfathering you in to have access to the early access, which starts December 11th and will be commingled with the Steam users who purchase through Steam, and we'll all be on the same servers. And that's about another 30,000 or so, a little under 30,000 or so people who have just access to the betas that we will be also inviting to participate in the alpha early access experience.
And then we've got a couple more questions that we'll grab. Otherwise, we'll be here all day. We've got some things we got to do on our end. Both Stephen and I are busy people too. Raging Nader wants to know, when is optimization from video cards coming through?
That is happening right now. It is something that's been happening over the last, obviously it always happens, but we have taken a concerted focus on the engineering and tech art side over the course of the last few weeks, and over the next 4 weeks, we hope to get that in a very good spot.
And then Gwell wants to know, will the Anvils be getting any updates before early access?
Yes, there is a micro POI team that's focused right now on introducing additional lower level types of points of interest. In addition, we are updating our in-world quest indications, and we are helping some of the breadcrumbing out of Mount Dune as part of a focus for the next 4 weeks. That's stuff that you'll be able to test on the PTR as well.
And then folks are wondering what regions are available on Steam. Will more regions be given access? So we are not blocking anybody. Anybody can be part of the access. We are not going to have realms for specific locate regions yet. We're focused on US and EU, but we may open that up at a later date. Just right now for our Alpha 2 phase, those are the realms locations that we're going to continue to have. But we aren't blocking anybody. Anybody can join from any region unless you're blocked from some governmental reason. Then we have no control over that. So just putting that out there. And then this is the last one we'll grab. Otherwise, we'll be here all day. I think we're already at probably 2-hour mark, 3-hour mark. I don't know where we are now. But Sev Records wants to know, is the project still financed to completion, Stephen? That's
Yes.
a hefty one.
Yes, we are. I mean, it's not a hefty one, right? Because
It's a hefty one
know,
for you. You
well,
carrying it on your shoulder.
yes, it is it has been a hefty 10 years. But I will say this, that regardless of the fact that our project is funded to completion, which I think is evident over the fact that we have been here for the last 10 years. And we have a nearly a little over 250 person development team in San Diego. I think that's a testament to the funding, obviously, that the project has. But ultimately, we're a company and we are selling a product. And that product is player centric. It is player focused. We are here because we are players who want to build a product for ourselves and for you. And that does mean that products get nurtured by revenue. It is important for us. And if you don't understand the concept of what revenue brings to a product, that's okay. Not everybody is business minded to that sense, but more revenue for us means the opportunity to continue outsourcing faster, potentially, to expand our post-launch updates, to incorporate additional elements and features to the game that we would want to do post-launch as well. The cost to upkeep our server environments is significant, right? So, we are a company at the end of the day. I don't know of any other project in the world or in the gaming sphere of this magnitude that has been built on the back of one person's shoulders. And it requires, if you believe in what we're trying to achieve and you believe in the vision, it requires adoption by a community, and a community that's large. Steam obviously provides us that opportunity. And so this is a big day for us. This is a big moment for us, not just because it takes us to the next step of inviting perhaps less engaged users and incorporating their feedback and participation within the development process, but it takes us one step closer to launch. We are now on a road within the next year where we anticipate making significant progress towards that launch date. And, we're not prepared necessarily to announce when that might be quite yet, but we are making significant strides. Having 250 developers on the team is a significant overhead. And it is something that means that our progress needs to match that overhead. And that's something that we are taking very seriously.
Yeah, we made it to the end. So thank you all. Like we said, today was going to be a big one. There were a lot of moving pieces, so we appreciate you guys being with us through this and giving us a little grace in the time frame and understanding of the timeline that we're going for and the things that we've had to shift it. We've constantly always said it, and we're going to continue to say, things may move, development may shift. Our focus is to provide you guys what we can, the best experience we can through what we can do. But we also want you to be conscious that this is an alpha. We are, in an alpha state, but we're going to be hunkering down and really trying to make sure this is a good early access experience for folks. And so those of you who have been joining us, or if you haven't yet and you're like, oh man, I love what you guys are trying to achieve, come join us, come be part of the PTR. We're going to be, every day we've been hopping in game, doing all kinds of different tests and things like that. Some of you guys have been engaging with developers, QA, producers, devs on a daily in the game. We've definitely been in there trying to make sure that we're gathering a lot of data, performance data, and just really working towards making changes on a daily basis and updates. So we appreciate you guys for joining us. If you haven't yet, and if you want to support us, definitely click that wish list button. Also click the follow button. Those things are big for us over on the Steam landing page. They will help us greatly on the Steam front. So if you can, please do that. Ask your friends and help us out. Of course, we want to give you guys all a thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here for this entire stream. This is a lot. We hope that you will join us in all of the places. We are, Ashes of Creation, all of the places, including TikTok now. So come and be a part of that.
No dancing on TikTok.
We're going to get Steven to dance now.
No, they voted no. They voted
He's made
no.
his bed. We're going to have Peter and Kyle go over there and record you. It's going to happen. And of course, we want to thank some of our developers who helped us today. Thank you, Bill, Jim, Natalie, Trad, Adam, Noah, and of course, Kyle behind the scenes for helping us create this wonderful live stream and give you guys, a little insight into development and how we're doing things. We try our best to be as open as we can. Obviously, we're sharing a lot of details that a lot of companies would not. So, we really care a lot about what we're building here, and we hope that you guys see that in what we're doing. We will have articles up. We'll have all kinds of things being posted. We're going to be sharing stuff on social. If you want to help amplify and, give us some extra love, if you have social channels, please share and spread the love, because that's really what's going to help make Ashes of Creation even better than it has been, is getting more folks aware of what we're doing.
Yes.
And with that, I think that wraps us up, unless you have anything else you want to share with people, Stephen.
No, just excited to watch the community grow and see the response and the engagement. It's always going to be, nervous, but also a lot of fun. And happy to have you guys along the way. And obviously your support means an incredible amount to us at the studio and on the development team, because we all share a dream, and that dream is to see the vision for Ashes of Creation come to life.
We've been playing a lot. The director's group too. We've been we've been playing. I was raiding last night with a bunch of people and the previous night, so it's definitely been a good time on our front. So we are in it with you guys. We see where there's rough points. We're trying to fix those as well. And yeah. Thank you for joining us. I can't wait to see. I want to go read all the comments on the trailer. I hope you guys like it. We worked really hard on that.
Yes.
So all right.
All right.
Bye.
We'll
see you for our next
Bye,
update
guys.
soon. Very soon.